What's up, Dragon Brood? I hope you lovely people are doing awesome today to start the week with on this Monday. I hope I get it up on Monday. I'm at least recording it on Monday, so that's got to count for something. After the last video, I was talking to people and responding to some comments, and it looks like we have people who want to see more Gruul being played, which I'm not going to complain about because Gruul is probably my favorite color combination to play, and I happen to have a new Gruul deck in Arena, so why not make it happen? Let's get to it. Hey, also, while we're getting fired up here, I have a question. Could y'all leave a comment down below and tell me if y'all like seeing color behind me? Because I have these cool lights that I can change the colors in the background. I kind of do it when I stream. So any of you who watch me stream will see that I have usually like a blue color in the background, but I don't know. I guess when the screen was smaller, I didn't think the color really mattered. I normally rock something like this with the cool blue in the back. I'm a big fan of it, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you like the color or not? If so, I can rock some different colors and see what happens a little bit there. Well, there we go. All right, back to our normal bright lights. Okay, so also, if you have anything to say, feel free to leave a comment anytime. I love responding to that stuff. I try to respond to it as quick as I can and stay on top of it. And also, while you have a moment, if you like what you see, click the like button down below, please. And subscribe if you haven't. That helps a whole lot while we're trying to get things rolling on the channel. Alright, so we're going to get right in here. Play some games. Actually, let me go ahead and show you the deck list real quick, because this isn't like the other one I posted, I think like 3 weeks ago on the channel. I've updated it since. We're going to take a look here. It's actually a little bit different. We decided to no longer play the Gallias that were in here, and now we're playing Robber of the Rich in its place, and we're trying to go a little bit bigger and playing a full set of Zhur-Taa Goblins. Most of these changes really compensate for the mono red matchup, being able to play just bigger creatures and being able to stick those fights a little longer. Kind of the same thing on the Lovestruck Beast. You know, it's possible we could play some other 1/1s in the list to make the beast a little bit better. However, in the matchups against a red deck, we don't really even care for attacking with it. It's just a big blocker that's nice. And then if we have it against other decks, it's fine. But we generally side it out against the slower decks anyway. We did go down to just 3 Embercleave instead of 4, which isn't great, but there's a lot of matchups where you don't really get to utilize your Embercleave anyway, so drawing those extras doesn't really help you as much as you want them to. And then the sideboard, we're going with Redcap Melee, as that's probably one of our best cards in the mono red matchup, also bringing in 1 Shadow Spear and Lava Coils. So we have a few things to fight that fight. For the slower matchups, we are bringing in 3 Ceratops, bringing in an extra Brontodon, and oftentimes a Nax as well, just because it usually results in us getting 4 or 5 creatures after they sweep the board. So nothing real spectacular. This isn't like world-breaking information for Gruul. It's just a really solid list. So let's go play some games. I have a feeling, actually, let's see. While we're playing, do we want to switch any of these? Green and black. Actually, these are all going to let us get stuff for casting green spells. This is awesome. So it's exactly what we want. All right, let me swap these decks out and we will get to the games. Hopefully we'll have some fun. Hopefully things will go well. Even if they don't, so be it. Sometimes stuff happens. That's okay. I probably need to switch this over so I don't see like my boom arm over here from a microphone in the screen. Oh, we get to play first. That's awesome. That hand, however, is not awesome. Let's mulligan that. This is much better, actually. I actually kind of want to keep all of this. So we're actually going to keep and actually just get rid of the mountain, I think is what we want to do. Mostly because this hand's going to allow us to play stuff every turn anyway. If we draw a 3rd land, great. We can actually just cast the Bonecrusher Giant. We just may not get to questing these quickly. No blocks, obviously, here. We are playing against mono red, so this is kind of nice. However, we are going to sustain some damage here from our lands, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but not the worst thing. Turn this into a 3/3 because, you know, red decks don't like having to push through things. However, if the opponent attacks here, it basically means they have a Rimrock Knight in hand, which, if so, we won't care greatly. Oh, they don't have one. All right, that's a bonus for us. Kind of like that. This is interesting because I don't know if we actually want to cast the Bonecrusher Giant or not here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because even if the opponent draws a land and they're able to hit us with an Embercleave, it's only going to turn something into a 2 toughness creature, and we'd still be able to kill it with the Bonecrusher Giant the following turn. And if we have this, we only have to worry about it once. And I'm just going to keep the pressure up here against the opponent. I don't really see the reason not to otherwise. Worst case scenario, we're just going to block a Scorch Spitter. And we're pretty close to being able to close the game if that were to happen. Because we have a Questing Beast as a 4, Pelt Collector would become a 4, and then we have 2 3/3s. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So they can't all out attack. That's just going to be bad for them. Well, that's assuming we draw a land, of course. But we basically have 2 blockers to getting obliterated by an Embercleave at this point. And this is the reason we made the changes we did in the deck list specifically for these situations, where we have big 3 and 4 toughness things, because that's actually hard for the red deck to deal with. Now, what you'll see post sideboard is the red decks are almost always bringing in like Scorching Dragonfire, Lava Coil, stuff like that. So they have more ways to fight that fight post sideboard. But we're sitting pretty right now. There's really no complaint here. Even if I were to draw the 4th lane, I'm not completely sure we'd go ahead and cast the Questing Beast, but I'll have to think. Actually, we probably still will. This is a little bit of a tougher situation, though, because we would have to go to 12. Opponent would be able to make a 3-power Phoenix, which would hit us for... potentially, if they have an Embercleave, let's say, they would attack us for 6 in the air, 7, 8 from Scorch Spitters. We'd be able to block something with that. But then it also comes down to, do they have those in conjunction with the Rimrock Knight? And that changes things as well. So I actually don't think we want to do that. I think our plan here is just attack. Well, yeah, I think our plan is just attack with our ground guys. Because we have the Giant to kind of negate any major issues we would have as far as an Embercleave. And there's really no point putting ourselves in a situation where we could lose. I don't think it's likely. They would have to have a pretty sweet set of cards in hand for that to harm us. But, you know, you don't want to create those situations if it's avoidable. However, with them blocking like this, that pretty much tells us everything we need to know. We're pretty well set here. They're about to lose 2 more creatures, and they're going to take 6 damage. And then next turn, if we want it, we'll have a trampling. Yeah, Pelt Collector plus a Questing Beast. So they didn't really stand to have much there. And neither of us missed our land draws. We kind of hit everything on time there. So we are going to bring in the Thrashing Brontodon. It not so much because of what you think. A lot of people assume that's just because we want more Embercleave control, but the truth is we actually don't care about that greatly. It's really a matter because it's a 4 toughness creature, and they have a hard time dealing with that. We do want all of these Redcap Melees for sure. Actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to bring in all the removal, because Lava Coil is going to get rid of their Phoenix since they're playing those, and then you get the bonus ability of being able to get rid of an Anax or a Torbrand before the opponent can really do anything crazy with it. And then here we're just going to get rid of Embercleaves, because that's not going to be our road to victory in this matchup. Also, probably Robber of the Rich. Though I do like having extra blockers, Robber of the Rich just doesn't do much in these fights. It's a little bit anemic, if I'm being honest. Questing Beast is mostly fine, but we're actually going to cut one just because it's a little bit slower, and we're going to be kind of playing around these other spells most of the way. And then finally, I need to cut one of something else, and I don't know what. How many lands do I have in this list? 8, 16, 20... Well, that's 23. We can't really cut that. I got to cut one more. I'm willing to play 61. Y'all will see that a lot in my videos. Rarely am I willing to go into battle with 62. It's just a bit scarier. I think because we're bringing in the extra removal, maybe we could do without a Domri's Ambush, but that feels a little bit sketchy. Not totally sure that's the route I want to go. You know what? I guess in this case, I may actually not play this one extra Brontodon. And we'll just go with this. It's probably incorrect, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I just noticed my opponent's name over the top. That's a pretty cool username. I would love to have that name and be on like some type of like live coverage thing and have people referring to me as over the top. That'd be sweet. This we will keep. This is actually reasonable. We will get rid of a forest. And this is okay because there's a good chance we can play this 1-1 and the opponent likely won't do anything to it. I'm just going to go ahead and take the 2 now because I have a feeling we're going to have to at some point anyway. And we won't accidentally mess up on turn. Because sometimes, that's the thing too, I've had people watch me on stream and ask why do I play the pain lands even when I don't have to. Sometimes it's just also for future, so I can't screw up and accidentally play the wrong card. Because sometimes you'll play a forest and then misclick and pull the other forest out of your hand when I'm actually going to want a red land to be able to play this Domri's Ambush on this turn. So the opponent kind of did us a favor a little bit. Oh, well, we actually drew a mountain, so I guess we could have saved ourselves the damage. But we don't know that at the time. Alright, so our plan isn't really going to be to fight with the Lovestruck Beast, so turning this into a 2-2, or at least attack, doesn't really bother us all that much. We're going to leave this to block. If we're lucky, the opponent will have to spin... Well, they're not going to spin cards like that. That's not good for us. Alright, so we are going to take 4. Though the opponent's hand is becoming very limited. They're spending resources to get through our stuff to not get much for it. Now the downside for us is we have drawn a lot of lands. Yeah, notice here again, I'm playing a forest first just to make sure I have the double green next turn and can't mess that up. Or at least limit the opportunity for me to mess it up. I can tell you from experience, you can always find ways to mess stuff up in Magic. Well, that's unfortunate. They ended up having a claim the firstborn, so yeah, we're dead. Not a lot we can do there. I mean, the opponent just gets the draw, they get the draw. That's one you just kind of have to eat. You know, we drew way too many mana sources instead of more creatures, which is what we really need to draw there. I think I'm going to keep this the same, though. I don't really see much reason to make a change. Though, I say that. We're going to be more on the aggressive plan, so let's cut 1 Lovestruck Beast. Actually, no. Actually, that is a little difficult, knowing the opponent is bringing in Claim the Firstborn against us. Don't really like that too much. Alright. Plus, we're going to be on the play. So let's see if this makes a difference at all. Bringing this. Actually, I'm going to cut 1. Actually, no. That's actually fine. I think we're just going to go with this. Actually, in that last game, did we draw any... Actually, we didn't draw any non-land cards that match, did we? Or that game. That's pretty tough. Ooh, this is not pleasant. Thing is, if we get 1 forest, this would be really good. But actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it. Mostly because we have 2 removal cards, and if the opponent doesn't have a turn 1 play, we can get in with Robber of the Rich. Or, you know, they get shocked or something. That's fine, too. Well, don't have Fervent Champs. Not a lot we can do about that. Well, that's not what we wanted to see. At least want to get a card we could play for it. That would have been great. They're going to play another Champ, maybe? Because Champ Shock would be a reasonable turn here. Nope, they opted not to. No Grimrock Knights either. So I'm not sure what list they're playing at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand. We have 6 cards in hand. I can't really do anything with this other stuff, so I say we just shoot their Fervent Champ. I mean, we failed to draw the green mana we needed to draw, so this didn't really work out at all. And this is what you get for keeping a bad hand, folks. This one's totally on me. If we lose this, this is totally my doing. Alright, there is the green, so we'll go ahead and just run this out here, though playing a Pelt Collector naked isn't the best thing, because it probably is just going to die. But you got to give yourself a shot. The bad news is we've kind of taken advantage of our removal already to kill whatever big threats they might have here. So we're going to have to try to go over the top if they play like an axe or something. We may have to jump all the way to playing Gruul Spellbreaker, which I don't like. Alright, Steamkin, reasonable. We can't play two things this turn. And this is kind of where it gets a little iffy too, because this is a turn where like we could play Spellbreaker and then work our way up the chain potentially, but I think here we're just going to go ahead and play Bonecrusher Giant. It only turns Pelt Collector into a 2/2, so it's not that big a deal. We can still play Zhur-Taa Goblin and something in order next turn and still get what we want out of our Pelt Collector, which is max size. Okay, there's the Enact we anticipated was coming. Well, that is actually rather interesting. So, let's make a Pelt Collector. Then I think the question here is just, do we... Actually, no, we just Zhur-Taa Goblin. That's what we want to do. And then we will attack with both our folks on the ground here. And then remember, Gruul Spellbreaker has haste. So we do get some wiggle room to do something if we want to. And then we can also next turn, if the opponent plays Embercleave next turn, we don't look like we're dead just yet. So we could survive that and then play the Thrashing Brontodon and get rid of the Embercleave if we want to. So there's a few things here we're working with in our hand that are reasonable. That thing's coming through to block. Yeah, we'll block here with a Zhur-Taa Goblin. I guess this is where we're going to play Rimrock Knight. Nope, just a shock. Okay. Fair. And something else. One is trying to go after all our creatures at once. Alright, sure. Alright, interesting. Because they used that particular card, we weren't able to do anything there, but this is actually okay. Gonna go ahead and just play a big bad Spellbreaker. So now we have a 4/4 Trampling Pelt Collector, and more importantly, we have two 4/4s to a potential 4/4 Steamkin. We do know the opponent has Embercleave in hand. They don't know we have Brontodon. But we're reaching a point of equilibrium, assuming we can draw more spells and not draw all these lands. Don't know what the opponent's up to, though. They're thinking through a turn pretty serious here. And they're going to be able to generate some number of extra counters on Steamkin. So it's possible they could play two small spells and then something else on top. Or maybe they just... Oh, no, they didn't. That's interesting. Okay. So now we know they can kind of set up an Embercleave. And we don't necessarily want that to happen. So we will probably just attack here. I mean, opponent's only at 6, so they've kind of got to deal with all of their stuff. Or they're in bad shape. We will kill this Runway Steamkin first. Sure. That's not even a question. And then we're going to go ahead and play this. Just because we don't have the mana to play both. Oh, actually, I just messed up. Because both my creatures had trample. I could have just played the Gruul Spellbreaker and won there. Because we would have trampled, we would have got 3 from the Spellbreaker. We would have trampled for 2 over the Robber of the Rich. And then at worst, the opponent would have had to play a spell. And they could have prevented 1. So the opponent could have been at 1, but they would have lost both their creatures. So that's actually a misplay last turn. I should have just played the Spellbreaker. That's a little unfortunate. I mean, I think it's still mostly okay here. So, I don't know. Alright, they're just going to light up the stage for something to try to find blockers, I guess. Doesn't really matter. We're going to have 2 trampling creatures, and that's going to do it. So yeah, barring game 2, where the opponent just drew great and we drew lands, and they stole our biggest creature that we could play, the matchup's actually better against the red decks now. And that's the reason we've made a lot of these changes in this version of the Gruul deck. Man, this is going to be awesome with all these things that actually need us to do green things. We're going to wipe these all off the board pretty quick. All right, let's get into our next game. All right. Mastro Magno. That is a cool name. And see, and that's the thing. Like, I don't even know if that means anything or if it just sounds cool. This is interesting. I think the plan here is we're going to keep it for sure. Because we effectively have 2 1-mana plays. Even if this comes into play tapped on turn 2, it's not the worst thing. And then we can have some backup with an ambush, potentially. I also like this because if things work out okay, we're basically playing with these 4 cards. And then if the board gets swept or something, depending on what they're playing, we have a Questing Beast to play late. But I'm not totally sure what the opponent's doing here. Or we're just going to get a freebie because the opponent's AFK? I don't know what's happening. But yeah, again, like I said, if you like this version of Gruul, feel free to have a go with it. I think it's pretty fun. It's got a decent bit of flexibility. Like I said, if there's any gripe, it's simply that the way I have it set up, you can't take huge advantage of Lovestruck Beast, but that's probably the one downside. Oh, I think the opponent's still AFK. I guess Arena's just being nice and giving them a chance. Actually, also, did anybody else notice? We used to have, like, cool interactive things, and the last couple of boards they make don't feel like anything happens when I click on things. I can click all these little corners, and there's no, like, fireflies that pop out or anything, or, you know. Oh, okay, here we go. Opponent's live. Oh, they have a Lovestruck Beast. All right, well, that was not what we were anticipating playing against, but I guess that's okay for the most part. I guess we'll just play ours, and nothing. We'll just pass. So this is going to get a little weird because the opponent's playing Lovestruck Beast. I don't think they're playing sweepers of any kind. So our next couple of turns are going to get a little odd because we're probably just going to Domri's ambush their 1/1, play the other 1/1 of our own from our other Lovestruck Beast, and then maybe just cast a Lovestruck Beast and see what we can do. Okay, well, we're playing against that. Never mind, that changes entirely what we want to do. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, how do we feel about this? I mean, if we just play our Lovestruck Beast, they make us pick it back up. We don't really care. If they play their Lovestruck Beast, we can just kill it. So we're kind of okay with that. Wonder if we could trick our opponent by... No, let's not get tricky. I was going to attack with our token and see if the opponent blocks, and then not knowing we have the other Lovestruck Beast, but I think that's getting too in the weeds a little bit there. Okay, that's what we were hoping the opponent would do. So that's in line with what we were requesting of the opponent. So let's go ahead and do this. And then maybe there's some weird world where the opponent wants to make us double bounce tokens, which could be real. I don't know. But we're going to put the onus on the opponent to bounce those tokens if that's what they're up to. Because I would think that's a reasonable play from the opponent. Right now, it looks like our next play is probably just going to be Gruul Spellbreaker and attack. So even if they do bounce the tokens, say with double Brazen Bar triggers, then we end up still getting to attack with 6 damage worth of stuff with the Lovestruck Beast just sitting back, which sounds reasonable. But the opponent didn't even have that. So sometimes you kind of have to think through the plays that could happen, and then they just don't happen anyway. So this is interesting. I'm going to bring in this other Thrashing Brontodon because one of the worst cards for us actually is their Clover for obvious reasons. And this matchup, because I assume they are playing red because we've been seeing Timur varieties, you can actually bring in the Redcap Melee, which isn't spectacular, but it does let you kill, like in the 4 toughness flyers sometimes when you need to. It can let you take out another big creature that's in the way. You can also freely get to kill a giant for just the 2 life loss there. So that's an option. I don't know if a Nax is worth it here. Shifting Ceratops actually is fine here because it limits the number of ways they have to get rid of your stuff, which is pretty nice. And then I guess we're going to go with Lava Coil. This is kind of a weird sideboard package, honestly. I feel like I'll dabble with the Shadow Spear. It may actually not make the cut here, truthfully. Robber of the Rich, I don't mind. It actually plays okay in this match, and the fact that it has reach has come in before, so that's kind of nice. I don't greatly care for Lovestruck Beast in this matchup, actually. There's too many ways for it to get bounced, and you kind of just end up shaping your game plan around it when you don't really want to. Embercleaves, I'm going to cut one just because of all the bounce spells, and they bring in the counter red or blue thing, or red or green thing. I guess if anything has to go, it probably is going to be Robber of the Rich. Especially since we're on the draw. On the play, I might reconsider. And then we can just take out this one Shadow Spear, I guess. So our deck's going to be a little bit slower, which we don't love, but it's not bad. We have a little more removal. There's an argument that if anything could have been pulled, probably the Redcap Melees, but we're going to try it out and just see what happens. I mean, I will admit, if you're running into a lot of Timur adventures, could be pretty rough. It's a match that I'm barely slightly better than 50% against, at least in my experience. So it's going to be hard. I mean, if you're running into a lot of those, you're just going to lose a lot of those games to random situations, to your opponent drawing like double or triple giants or whatever whenever they have the clover out. So it's not the best time. Oh boy. We have 2 turns to draw what we need. We're going to be able to use a Bonecrusher Giant, I'm pretty sure. But if we don't draw at least one green source, we're going to be hurting. I'm going to keep it anyway, though. We're going to gamble. We're up a game. Let's take some chances. Probably not the best call, not the best logic to just go in and like play reckless, but unless the opponent just has double... Okay, we found our green sources. It has double tap lands. This probably means we're going to get a clover this turn. I kind of would like him to play another tap land and an innkeeper. That'd kind of be our ideal scenario, so we could just go, oh, hey, cool, sweet. Please don't have double innkeeper. Okay, well, that's not the worst. We kind of got what we wanted. All right, let's kill us an innkeeper. That sort of worked out. We are going to be dealing with a big 5/5 this turn, which is not great, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. We can't get everything. I was going to say, unless the opponent just doesn't have a land, but maybe this isn't Timur. I mean, I would assume it is, but maybe we're wrong. Oh, there's a clover. Oh, but the opponent didn't have anything to go with it. Interesting. What does that mean? I mean, the opponent could bounce stuff, and then next turn, and then we take 6. But if they do, then we just kill the token for the following turn, and we can save the one that's in our hand. This isn't great, but I'm just going to pass. Alright, well, we don't get to do what we wanted to do. That's a little unfortunate. I mean, we could at the cost of losing a land, but I don't think we want to do that. So, I'm willing to, for the time being, just kill this Headwall Innkeeper. Alright. Assuming the opponent only attacks with Lovestruck Beast, sure. No blocks. Now the good thing is if we do decide to play a Spellbreaker, they can't bounce it on our turn. So they'd have to play both of those on their turn. Which makes a big difference. Unfortunately, we did not get what we wanted. So we really have to put some thought into this. I think we're just going to pass. This did not work out well for us here. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have to use this Redcap Melee at some point. We'll block. I mean, we're going to do it. Don't like it, but what we got. Also tells us that we're definitely sitting on an opponent that's got a bunch of brazen bars and stuff, so not much we can do. I mean, if I was the opponent, I'd just be playing the brazen bars at this point. Yeah, exactly. I think us not drawing land is really what got us here, because even having double questing beasts, we didn't be able to just send the questing beasts in to fight against those, but alright. We're going to call it good. Though that was really awful for them to draw all those lands. So that was weird. It kind of worked against us, but not for the reasons we were expecting. If that makes any sense. Alright, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Lovestruck Beasts are what we want in this fight, but then again, maybe it's not. I could also see a Nex working out in this list too, but I can't see many spots we could cut at this stage, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Well, I say that. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. And the only reason I'm bringing in the Robber of the Rich is while we're on the play, we're likely to be able to have 1 or 2 less cards than the opponent, but we also can utilize a lot of their cards because of the style of decks that we're playing. So this will keep. We're just going to roll out Pelt Collectors and try to take advantage of these Temples of Abandon to hopefully draw into something. The good news is, though, we should be able to play Shifting Ceratops when we're ready to possibly punch through, catch an opponent off guard, but we'll see. And again, the reason I'm just playing this is because I know my next couple turns are going to be Temples of Abandon. If for some reason the cards come up where I want those other colors, then I'll have an opportunity to have it. Ugh, don't want that. Alright, deck, we need to draw an actual creature next turn. Gruul Spellbreaker would be great. Though we're probably already up against it with this, and opponent plays like a Clover or something, and we're bad off. Nope. Alright. Well, we know what's going to get hit here, unfortunately. Oh gosh, so many lands. What's going on? I mean, I assume they're just going to want to kill the Robber of the Rich. And let me just have some 2/2 Pelt Collectors, but could be wrong. Yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't imagine any other situation there. Now, the interesting thing is here, I do have a decision to make next turn, depending on what we draw, because playing a Shifting Ceratops does give us 2 3/3s, which aren't nothing, you know. Okay, so this is actually even more interesting, because now, if we kill the token, they can't do anything with their Lovestruck Beast. And then we would have, well, Right now, though, if we play the Lovestruck, or play our Shifting Ceratops, they don't have any way to get past the Ceratops, unless they have just double Stomp in hand or something, which I guess is viable. So we're just going to do this, actually. Mostly because next turn, it's possible we could get a near win set up. Mostly by playing Domri's Ambush, kill the Lovestruck Beast, and then if we play something else that pumps the Pelt Collectors, then we have a bunch of trampling creatures potentially. So, let's see. Okay, they just played that, which is fine. Oh, wow. Wow. We've only drawn Robber of the Rich. Everything. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, everything else has been lands. I mean, the good news is at least this tramples past if we want it to. I mean, if they play stuff to kill both our... Or if they double block, I guess, then we just end up with 2 fat Pelt Collectors, which isn't awful. Alright, we'll give our 3-horn boy trample. And then when it dies, we make it 2 4/4s for Pelt Collectors. So now we have more outs depending on what the opponent has here. I mean, with our luck, the opponent goes Clover, then Brazen Bar, and then we're just upset. Okay, that's actually not the worst thing that could have happened. Oh, you're kidding. Oh, wow. This is so bad. Okay, we get to bounce 1. We figured that was coming. Alright, opponent's at 6. We know Brazen Bar can't block our ground, guys, so we know that much is safe. And the opponent only has 1 red mana, so they can't shoot a Pelt Collector and block 1 with the Giant. Wow, this is so rough. This is crazy. We've literally drawn 1 non-land card through 6 turns. Wow. And that's not counting that we got rid of 2 lands with Temples of Abandon. Oh, deck. Why? Why are you doing us like this? Yeah, I guess we kind of have to. And then just attack with the 4/4. Opponent trades. We get a 3/3 and a 3/4 out of this. Sure. This is one of those times I would have had that 3rd Embercleave to possibly draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got at least 9 lands already that we've passed. Alright, let's end the turn. I mean, we have a bunch of cards that are useful here, though, right? Like, if we were to draw another Domri's Ambush that does something. Oh, they got another dang Brazen Bar. That Brazen Bar makes Domri's Ambush not a thing. Oh, actually, they're not playing an untapped land. Never mind. So yeah, now if we get that, or a Stomp is going to allow us to deal 5 for the turn. If we get... Actually, that let them play an extra land? Yeah, so... Yep, so they're at 3. They can definitely bounce one of these. Oh, they're playing an Innkeeper. So yeah, we're still in the same situation. So, Stomp, Domri's Ambush. Got not that. I was like, even a Gruul Spellbreaker would have been awesome. Oh my gosh. This is just so brutal. So brutal. Oh man. This hurts so bad. Like, oh, we have so many significant cards. Like an Embercleave would have been good. Oh, so many things. So many cards are good here. And we're just, like, not only that, like, seriously, like, half of our non-land cards were practically winners on that turn. Because we get to draw on Spellbreakers, Stomps from the Giants. Yeah, see, oh, that's bad. Okay, well, the same cards are still winners now, right? Come on, deck. Okay, jeez, it only took us forever. Oh no, because they can gain 2 life now. Oh gosh. Oh, this is so bad. This is so very, very bad. Alright, so what's the best way we could do this, right? If we shoot the opponent for 2, they go to 1. We play the giant. Well, no, we could just kill a Great Hinge. Actually, no. We have to shoot them in response to them tapping the Great Hinge. I think. But it's part of a mana ability, so I think they just get the life. So I don't think that works the way we want it to, unfortunately. Alright, well I guess we're about to find out. Because sacking this at least turns the other Pelt Collector into a 2/2. Oh, you know what? We probably did this wrong anyway. We should have just went ahead and played the giant. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, we did that wrong. Because if we'd have shot them, they'd have been at 1. Then we would have played this. This would have went to a 3. Dang, we had a way out, and I played it incorrectly. Yeah, I messed that up, folks, pretty badly. Messed that up a lot of ways. A lot of ways. Though we do end up with more outs, I guess, so it's not the end of the world, but still not great. Good news is we at least know the Brazen Bar, all the best it can do is bounce something, which is fine, but it can't block. So if we find a way to remove the Fae of Wishes, it's still mostly fine. However, the opponent's going to discard cards and then turn it to their hand. Play it, go search for something, and unfortunately they have the mana to play it and be able to play whatever they find. Has to be a non-creature card. Even if it's like another Great Hinge, that doesn't really help them. So we're not worried about that. Oh, that's pretty serious though. Well, I guess kinda. Puts him at 11. Does that have Vigilance? None, it's Trample. So now we need to draw something to get rid of a Shadow Spear. Alright, so interesting. The opponent can go to 11, and we can hit them for 10. This took way too long to draw live cards. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do. I mean, we're going to put the opponent back at 1. So, trying to think. So then, if the opponent does attack next turn to go to 11, then the only thing we can draw is Embercleave to potentially win. At least with what the opponent has in hand, most likely. So, I'm just going to do this, because the result doesn't do anything. It just ends up with us losing a creature, and the opponent still being at the same amount of life. So attacking there doesn't really achieve anything. However, now it is possible that if you draw another Embercleave, yes, but if we draw another Gruul Spellbreaker, that could potentially change things, because we have a bunch of 4/4s, and that's 16 damage. Even if the opponent blocks 1, that's 12. The other one blocks 1. That goes back to 8. We'd be able to do 11 with the Spellbreaker coming through. Lucky Clover, however, is very bad because we know they have both of these in hand, and now we're probably going to lose. Yep, that's unfortunate because they can bounce 2 things. So no blocks, and then we have to just hope to draw likely something to just kill a Shadow Spear at this point. Interesting they just straight up played it and then didn't try to hunt for something. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because Clover only works on that. Oh, interesting. Oh, now this is interesting. I mean, we're dead if we don't. So we kind of have to just play the Robber of the Rich and hope to rip something off of their deck. I think is how this reads at the moment. Though it doesn't even matter, because if they're smart, they just bounce Robber of the Rich and like a Pelt Collector. And then that's game. So, I mean, we do it, just hope the opponent picks the wrong... Well, I guess they should have done that pre-combat, I guess. I mean, we know they're going to pick up two things. We're really hoping, like, we pick up a Brazen Bar is kind of, like, what we need to happen here. Though this thing does trample. Oh, no, it doesn't. It only trampled because of the Shadow Spear. Oh, that's right. Because they made us pick these up, we didn't get anything from that. Yeah, we can't win. Alright, well, we tried. That's just unfortunate. Like, the early part of the game, we just didn't draw any spells to interact. But I do feel good about the way we played that and the way we sideboarded. I think it actually gives us enough options that that's totally reasonable to where we could have won that match. I think that's a case where sometimes you don't want to necessarily be results-oriented. You kind of have to take it for what it is. And in the way that played out, really we just had a weird stretch where we went through in the first, what was that, 9 cards, 7 were lands. You know, so if at any point any of those are a threat, we very easily could have won that match. All right, we're going to keep this. This is not spectacular, but not bad. Not sure how well we're going to utilize Robber of the Rich here. But if we get a red, untapped red source, we do get a couple of choices for this coming turn if we want it. That's not great, because usually when we see that, lately it's meant that some type of Jund food deck of some variety. Man, that's tough. Knowing what we know, I actually like that card, but I don't think it's what we're going to need right now. We actually definitely need more mana sources, for sure. Because we're even in a situation now that if they play something and we want to kill it with an ambush, I mean, we're just not going to be able to play most of things. Oh, nope, it's a blue land, so not what we thought it was at all, so that's good. I mean, I guess, good, relatively speaking. But I guess we'll give the opponent a target. I mean, it's counter the Robber of the Rich or... Alright, cool. I mean, something's getting stomped here. I think this is just a match, same match from last time. Which I don't mind this, because it means when we play a 3-3 or something the next turn, we'll end up with bigger Pelt Collectors, which is nice. Oh, the opponent didn't even have that. Oh, an Opt. Definitely not what we thought we were playing against. This is real interesting. Well, whatever it is, it's much slower. I mean, even if they have an Uro or something, this actually doesn't set up terribly for us. Okay, Storm Grant. Oh, this is a Wilderness Reclamation. Got it. That makes sense. Well, I guess it didn't really matter then. We were going to lose all those creatures anyway. There's a Uro. Well, I guess it's kind of good we didn't have the Brontodon just run out there and get blasted, huh? Even though we weren't really anticipating that. And usually, except for Brazen Bar, you don't really see a lot of creatures out of these decks. Which is funny, because just as I said that, that's what they cast. I mean, opponent's going to be able to play Uro this turn if they really want to. I can't imagine they can't get another card in the graveyard. Unless their hand's all lands or something. Which, I don't know, maybe it is. Alright, Bar, sure. Interesting. I guess we just attack. I mean, I sort of want to run the Brontodon out there, but don't know how I really feel about it. Because I also feel like if we don't get rid of this, this is just going to be a pain in our butt, so we might as well. If the board gets swept, it gets swept, and again, the only reason we're losing is because of mana issues. Because again, if we had a fourth land, we very easily could have just got rid of that with no problem. Actually, though, I say that, I mean... yeah, we definitely needed one on that turn. Yep, and now we're going to be hurt. Well... this is an interesting spot. Let's do this. Of course, now we find the land afterwards, so maybe that's my fault. I should have been more conservative, but now we are in a bit of trouble. Alright, Chemist is inside. I mean, they're drawing lots of cards. I mean, they're going to try to kill us during their end step. Or just have a stack of brazen bars. I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of things that could happen here, I suppose. Just play more insights. Why not? I hope those are all lands that they were drawing. Like, make them feel my pain. You know... guess we'll just attack with the Zhur-Taa Goblin. If nothing else, it just puts pressure on them so they can't just keep freely playing pain lands. Alright, well, now I'll just replay it as a 3/3. This is where we're at. Alright, so I guess it says the opponent isn't doing great as far as options. So maybe they do have just a bunch of lands in hand. I don't know what's going on. So this is interesting because if they don't have a lot and their goal is just playing an Uro, then maybe if we get another Lovestruck Beast, we can do a bunch of damage this turn. Ambush to fight the Uro, then a Lovestruck Beast to make a token and attack. Shoot the opponent for 2 maybe. I don't know. Though I have to admit, I don't really think that Wilderness Reclamation decks are that good right now, in all reality. Though when those decks are good, I actually don't mind, because with Gruul we can just play extra Cinder Vines in the sideboard, and that's actually great for us. Oh, that's neat, but doesn't do what we want. Alright, so I think we just shoot the opponent. And let this get Mystical Disputed, I guess. Alright, opponent, what are you up to? Interesting. Yeah, we can't win now. There's no way. Alright. So at least now we know what we're up against. Unfortunately, this is one of those matchups where our sideboard doesn't have much to account for it. You know, we'll just bring in an Axe, this other Brontodon, probably some Hasty Boys, and that's likely the best we can do in this setup, honestly. There's not a lot of choices there, really. Embercleave is okay here, not great. The opponent plays a lot of instants to deal with our stuff, so I don't really know how I feel about that. I think we can cut one ambush. And believe it or not, Bonecrusher Giants aren't great in this matchup. They just let you kill the, I guess, Brazen Bars, but they don't really do a lot else, so I'm definitely going to cut one of those. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the Lovestruck Beast from this as well. And I think this is what we're going to roll with. Though there is something to be said that when you side in a Nax and then you have Lovestruck Beast, you get a chance to get more 1/1s, and that's all fine. Both because Lovestruck Beast dies and gets you more dudes, and if you just have other stuff die, your Lovestruck Beast is usually okay. We'll keep this though. We have a bunch of haste creatures. We've got the Brontodon, which isn't bad. I don't want an extra Bonecrusher Giant here. Though on the play, it's arguable that could be better, but we'll see. Alright, well we're going to go ahead and try to take advantage of the situation at the moment. Nope, just a lane. And then I think I'm just going to roll out a Gruul Spellbreaker on the next turn. Possibly because if we have a turn later, 2 mana and 2 mana is almost 4 damage, the way these decks play out, so that's possible. Let's see if we can get the opponent to spend mana to counter this. Or Aether Gust it, or whatever it is they want to do. Nope, they just want to pick that up with a break. Fair enough. Still haste attack. The other good thing is, too, I think sometimes people forget Gruul Spellbreaker gives you and it hexproof on your turn, and that's a big deal, too. Alright, so this is kind of one of those turns we were talking about, but we're going to do it with the Robber of the Rich. And just attack with these. Ooh, opt. That's nice. Opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 4. That'll give us 5. Alright. Might as well play their opt, right? That's cute. Yeah, we'll keep that. Why not? No idea if it's going to be important, but at least it gives us a potential out later. So, don't want to turn my nose up at it. Alright, opponent's at 8. One draft, sure. Alright, we will run out of Questing Beast because now that we have a second one, we don't really care if this one dies. And again, this is what we're talking about. Opponent's at 4, and then we have the 4 damage set up in hand. So if for some reason they were to deal with the Questing Beast, we could just finish the game there. So yeah, I think we're going to go just run it back as it is. Also, I think that hand is kind of one of those things you see why I don't like the Wilderness Reclamation deck is you can still get the cards you need to play defensively and still just lose. Like, even if I was playing a red deck there, like, I still would have had a bunch of threats and a bunch of damage. Or if my turn 3 play would have been like an Anax in the red deck, then, like, what do you do? Oh, this kind of sucks. I don't know how I feel about this. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it. Let's see if this Temple of Abandon and or our first 2 draws can produce an untapped land. Because if so, this isn't awful. Alright, that has to go. I mean, ultimately we'd like to keep it in hand, but truthfully we're trying to find an untapped land. So we have had 3 cards to get to find one. Well, and we're wrecked. That's what we get. And this is, if you're ever talking about seeing mana issues from this deck, this is exactly the issue you hear people talk about. Alright, well, it's a bit late, but they can stop this, for sure. I mean, I was going to have 6 or more cards in hand either way I did this, even if I played a Temple. So I have no problem just running this out and attacking first. Interesting. Leave it on that. Alright, good to know. I mean, land reclamation? I mean, our hand is way too slow, really, to be competitive here. Our best hope, realistically, is likely to... Actually, I say that. What can the opponent do if we just play a Brontodon? No clue if they left Mystical Disputes in or not. I'd hate to lose one to that, though. I think we have to risk it. I mean, we have a second one, so we're not that worried about it. Opponent can't just play that because they don't have double blue. Oh, they didn't do anything. Alright. Well, it's interesting because this could entice them to play the 4 damage thing. If they're concerned about protecting a reclamation when they get it. So, we'll see. Don't really know what the opponent's plan is here, so who the heck knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're not getting nearly enough mana to take advantage of this Robber Lich. And again, this is an opposite situation where we got 3 lands. We played 3 Temples Abandoned, shoved 3 lands away, and in the first, I guess, 9 cards, we have drawn no land. So we've seen both ends of it today. I think we just do this and don't show the opponent any new cards. Also sucks that we drew all 3 Embercleaves, if we're being honest. That's not ideal for us at all. I mean, my assumption is the opponent just takes 5 here and then... Oh, no. Interesting. So do they not have their 4 damage spell? Because they didn't opt to play this, which I thought they would have. So that's kind of intriguing. Not sure what to make of plays like that when I see them. Because it definitely goes against the logic I would expect them to have. Alright, win the turn. I'm assuming they're going to search, try to find their sweeper. Because of Reclamation, they don't want to play that first with this out. So they definitely want to get rid of this first. Okay, left 1 on top, 1 on bottom. So I'm assuming that's what's going on here. That would make logical sense. But, you know, stranger things have happened. Though now we're probably just looking for an untapped land to be able to play just a Questing Beast straight up after the sweeper. Yep, there's a Storm's Wrath. We knew that was a thing. See, this is what I'm saying, though. Look at my hand. Look at the lands I drew. Like, I've drawn pretty poorly as far as not having enough land to cast stuff, not having, or drawing 3 Embercleaves. You know, like, it's not a good hand. But we're actually not that bad off, which is pretty weird. I'm playing that first just because it does potentially deal 2 damage to the opponent if they decide to target it with something. It does hit for 4, and I didn't want to run a Brontodon out there now and just let it sit and put it at risk. That's probably bad for us. Alright, so they had a way to kill it, but they did take 2 off of it, so that's fine. The good news is if they do find a Reclamation, they don't have much else in hand to go with it at this point. So, trying to decide the best way to deal with this. What are those 2 cards, opponent? What are those 2 cards? Alright, Robber of the Ridge. Goblin. My Choice is seeing if I can get the opponent low enough, if maybe just a Questing Beast next turn seals it. More removal cards? More Scorching Dragon Fires? Or whatever that thing is? Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, it's an explosion. No, that makes sense. I shouldn't be surprised by that. Alright, opponent's at 6. They're searching. Now the problem is if they do have a reclamation, they have, like, real answers in hand. Stuff to play with it. Gruul Spiral, okay. That's another card. Alright, land. As long as it's not Expansion Explosion in hand, we don't care greatly, right? Well, they had a bunch of ops, apparently. Oh, that was not good. Whatever it was, they left it on top. That's probably bad for us. Unless maybe it's just... Well, Oh, boy. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to go for a win here. Don't think we can, though. Alright. Well, I guess if they have it, we're doomed. Timur's inside. They're looking. Ops still looking. Man, this is sad. If this is all they had, we could have just played that dang Questing Beast. Put a stop during opponent's second main phase. I mean, with our luck, they found another reclamation at this point, but is what it is. Oh, an Uro. That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, and our only way to punch through it, we actually have to... Yeah, that's rough. And then they'll definitely get it back out of the yard and get 3 more life. Oh, that's interesting. 1, 2, 3. Did they play a land already this turn? Well, they played one from the Gruul Spiral. Oh, well, they probably have another one of these in hand. I mean, if they don't, though, is that good for us? Is that all we need? I mean, because at least gives us a chance to try to do something fancy with Embercleave next turn. Oh, they had a Thassa's Intervention. Oh, no. Well, they would have had to pay 2 anyway. We wouldn't have been able to pay it. That's fine. Yeah, I think we're dead. This triple Embercleave got us. We're not going to be able to do nearly enough. Yeah, they're already getting the roll back. We're dead. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. That one we lost because we didn't draw enough land. So we've seen both sides of it. But again, it's not bad. I mean, you still got to see that that's a matchup that was still totally winnable for us. I think it's one of those things that too quickly people look and go, oh, you can't beat that deck. Like, no, actually, we could have beat that deck just fine. Like, we had 4 turns worth of opportunity where it just didn't happen, you know. Or if we drew something else other than triple Embercleave. Like, so either of those 2 scenarios would have been just fine. All right, let's see what we got next. Folo. Actually, I don't know if that's Falal or some weird, like, something laughing out loud. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. We'll keep this. against most decks, this is actually a reasonable draw. Oh, well, maybe not against this. Actually, I guess it's not bad either. We'll at least get to take out the Innkeeper, so that's fine. Having a Brontodon to deal with Clover could be nice. So, there's a few things going on here. Go ahead and take this dude out. And then I think next turn we'll probably just do something simple. Actually, yeah, we actually can't play this. We actually need another land, because if they have a Stomp from the Giant in hand, then we just lose this before we have the opportunity to kill the Clover, which is pretty bad. So we don't want to do that. Alright. Now our best hope is they only play... Oh, they played a second Clover. That's like the worst thing that could have happened. That's a real bad thing. We don't like that at all. The only good news is that they don't have a lot of things with adventure left. So we know that's a situation. So... oh boy. Alright, so I think the only thing we can really try here is Questing Beast, and then hope to Embercleave next turn, I think is the right answer. Because if that's just a giant or something, we're just dead anyway. I mean, there's really nothing more to be said about it. Because they would kill off whatever before we had the opportunity to... oh. Well, okay. Sure, opponent. Alright, well, having a backup Questing Beast is reasonable. Well, for sure attacking with that. Attack with this. See if that's enough. Yep, those tokens are just gonna do their business. Alright. So, if they spend their mana playing a Lovestruck Beast, we're still mostly okay.
Witness the ties that bind us all.
Alright, we should be good then, right? Because Questing Beast can only be blocked by the two big things. We can get through for... yeah, that's it. Because fun trample rules when you have Death Touch is great. Yep. Alright. So, see, it isn't nearly as bad whenever we get all of our lands. When we can cast spells. When we can't, it sucks a whole lot. Man, I don't know. My voice has been doing that lately. I'm not even sick or anything. It's like I'm hitting puberty again. That's weird. Alright. Let's try this. We're on the draw, so we're going to take out the Robbers of the Rich. I kind of, sort of want a Nax in, but I kind of, sort of don't. Man. It's weird, like when we're on the play, I want stuff like Lovestruck Beast and Robber of the Rich, but we're on the draw in this matchup. I don't like them nearly as much. Could get rid of both a Nax and then just roll with that. Let's try that. Though an X can get quite large, but we'll just do this, see what happens. I might try something. I may gamble on game 3 and try something completely different. Bring in like Robbers of the Rich, an axe, whatever, and just go for like kind of a max damage sort of situation. Okay, this I don't hate. Alright, well they didn't play turn 1 Innkeeper, which would have probably been the toughest thing for us. Okay, Clover's not our best friend, but not the worst thing. Let's just attack. We're going to make this a 3-3, so if they do decide to stomp, they'll have to put both triggers on the goblin. Which they might, or they just make us bounce both of these. Oh, also fine, I guess. We knew that was a reality, so no shocker. Let's try to figure out like how to best bait the cards out of the opponent that we were worried about. I say we go ahead and just play this. Mostly in a weird sense, like if we draw another Lovestruck Beast or draw like a Pelt Collector, then we can just attack. This is a dumb situation, just lets us fight. Okay, so they opted not to do that, which is interesting. So I say we just play this now. I'm assuming the opponent has either another Brazen Bar or a Stomp here. It is risky just letting it sit. Alright. And then we'll go ahead and just kill it. There's not a reason to otherwise. They're just going to pick up our guy. But I was going to say, just see what the opponent wanted to do with their mana, with them knowing they were going to lose their thing, so... Now, if they have another, they just have another. I mean, not a lot we can do. Okay, that's not so bad. We can deal with that. Those are reasonable cards we can fight against. I am okay with that. And I kind of like that we have this in hand, so we have a few options here. I'd like to draw another land so we could Questing Beast in this next turn. Because this turn, I really want to do this and this. Which I think is the right call. Because it also sets up a big Embercleave if we want it. I think I'm just going to turn this into a 3-3. Turn this into a 4-4. And then just really put pressure on the opponent here. None of these are small enough to get hit by Bonecrusher Giant. Unless they have 2 of them, obviously. Alright, well, sometimes they do. Yep, that's okay. I'm willing to accept that. Also not bad because it sort of protects our Questing Beast a little bit. So here... we want to... Kind of don't want to waste this on either of these, but knowing what's in hand, we can't let them have all those free cards. And we're only at 9. So I think we're going to. Just try to even the playing field a little bit, as they say. Sure, and this is annoying here. And that's another thing too, this list could play Domri. I have some versions where I had that, and some where I've had Klothys in the list as well. Though Klothys, believe it or not, you think it would be pretty good against mono red lists, but it actually hasn't been great. Mostly because if you end up in a situation where, like, on turn 4, you don't really have a good answer, it's kind of bad. No attacks. We're going to sit and block. Because the opponent doesn't come at us with anything, then we just have Embercleave on a Questing Beast, and that's pretty hot.
Be wary of the ground you walk.
I mean, the opponent's just going to try to Alpha Strike us next turn, which is, you know, no hate. I mean, that's a real plan. Can't quite bust through with the Questing Beast yet. Want to. Alright, no attacks. Opponent drew something good here, though. I think I actually missed a turn. The turn before I played Questing Beast is probably when I should have played it. Yeah, now I think we're in a bad situation.
Behold, nature's true power.
This guy doesn't trample yet. So that's good to know. If that's all the opponent wants to do, then we're kind of okay just doing this. Not sure how we survived this. Oh, wait. Oh, I was thinking if we had a Domri's ambush. Boom, be able to take out that guy. That would have been cool. We're only at 9, though. I don't think there's any way. Yeah, there's no way here we can win. Yeah, I think that was a misplay by me. I think we could have won that, but I goofed it up. Can't blame that one on the deck. That one's just me being me. There's no accounting for bad taste, let me tell you. Alright, so let's try a whole other route and see if we can go, like, super aggressive. So let's get rid of the lava coils, since we're not going to draw them at all today. These Ceratops are nice, but that game went kind of long and the opponent didn't draw the cards I was kind of anticipating they would. And actually, okay, let's go ahead and cut an axe. And let's just go with this. See what happens. We're really just rocking the extra Brontodon for the most part. And we'll just see if we can maybe punch through with an Embercleave for a win. Maybe that'll be our plan here. But we'd like a 1-drop. Oh, yeah, this hand exactly. Oh, no, not exactly this hand. Because this Temple of Abandon is going to come into play tapped. All right, well, we're going to keep it. Do we want the extra land? Do we want the extra land? I'm going to say yes. Sweet. All right, we at least get one roll trigger off the Robber of the Rich. That's a card we definitely don't like the opponent having. Like, 4 toughness creatures make us sad. Alright, well, this Robber of the Rich will not live long. That's for sure. A Pelt Collector. Interesting. Guess turn this into a 3/3. What's funny is we can almost use this to go get a... I don't know what we go get. I mean, I guess we can get Shadow Spear, which is cool. Though I guess later, if we really want to go get a... like, Lava Coil or something, that's awesome. Ooh, and a Brazen Fire. Alright, this time Robert Rich is actually getting real cards. Mad respect. So yeah, now it gets interesting because we have access to both of those cards next turn, unless they want to spend their mana getting rid of the Robber of the Rich, which, you know, maybe. Well, they're not. So opponent's willing to take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at a minimum. Oh. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we can shoot them for 2? Yeah, that's probably it. The heck with using the Robber of the Rich goodies. Yeah, exactly. I was like, even if they swept the board, they'd have been dead. Alright, so we won that one against Timur Adventures. So we're back to gold tier 2. Alright, we get to play Shitty Yakov. We're going to play one more here, see how we do. But the deck's been, honestly, except for those 2 matches where we kind of had like the 2 most severe land swings, it's actually been going pretty well. So let's keep this. This is a little bit of a questionable hand. And that's the other thing too, there's some hands I will keep on stream that I wouldn't necessarily keep in a tournament situation, just to see them play out and kind of give an overall look at what we're messing with, you know. Questing Beast we like, but it's going to be a little slow seeing as we're playing against mono reds. We're going to go ahead and tuck it and see if we can find either some removal or maybe like a... Oh, that's going to be bad for us. Pull a land, please. Oh, that's bad. Don't want them to have that. And yet we found another Questing Beast. Great. No attacks. Maybe the opponent doesn't have any more land and then they have to... Nope, not even that lucky. Alright, well. This robber's going to die. And then the opponent's going to get to play our Pelt Collector, which is not ideal. Which is sad because we really needed a Pelt Collector. So we could Pelt Collector and shoot the Robber of the Rich there. But that definitely did not happen. So we're just gonna go bigger, I guess. Not the best situation by any means, mind you. Oh, just slaying fire. What? Okay, well, that's a thing we now know. Alright, well the good news is we can at least put the kibosh on there playing that other card, because that's definitely a problem. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to do some trickery in the sideboard, because this is not going to be an easy matchup with this version of mono red. And we're only at 9 already, so we're going to have to find a way to get rid of that 10th Street Dodger. And it's unfortunate because we've already lost one of our Bonecrusher Giants to their Robber of the Rich. So we really only have 5 cards left to do that easily. Interesting. So they don't have anything to punch past our Robber of the Rich. That is good to know. Let's take a look at the top card, see what it's bringing. Ooh, more land. We don't want that. Well, if they couldn't punch past the 3/3 last time, they're going to have to draw something on the top to get past this one. No, is it Embercleave time? It looks like it's Embercleave time. We're probably dead. Though I think if they had it, the opponent would have just attacked instantly. Unless they're brand new to playing the deck and just don't know the Embercleave math yet. I mean, what is in their hand? Unless their hand's just all lands, right? This can't be the worst thing. Like, if they have Embercleave, the game's just over. I don't know, like... Okay. Is it a bunch of light up the stage? Like, I have no idea what they're like sitting on. Like, okay, this is interesting. All right, I guess we need to draw another. No, not that. Not that. We did not need 3 questing beasts to come through in this matchup. That's bad. So we're gonna be at 4 next turn. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to come through here. We needed something else. Like, if that card had been like a... I don't even know. Maybe... Oh, wow. Yeah, we're in bad shape. I don't think we can win here. There's no combination of stuff that will allow us to win that one. Boo hiss. That was just all kinds of bad. All right. Let's get all these removal things in here. Flame Sweep, especially against this version because they're playing the 10th Street goblins and all that. Definitely what we want. Arguable that we would want a Nax as well instead of all these questing beasts. I don't know. We're going to take out the Embercleaves. I'm going to take out 2 questing beasts. Probably Robber of the Rich. Because it's not really how we're going to try to win here. And then go from there. I mean, we already saw earlier, we can win against the mono-red decks. But when you get that type of draw, where we got the extra lands and then drew 3... questing beasts, that's not good. You got to have cheaper creatures to really fight these fights. Alright, we'll keep this. Mostly because we do have removal cards. A couple, actually. And you know what? I'm just going to leave that on top. It's not the ideal card we want, but with us having, like, Lovestruck Beast, blah, blah, like, you know, it's still going to let us do a couple of things. And then we can set up, just in case, see what we want to kill, what we don't. Gives us a few different options at 1 and 2 mana to manage our spells a little bit. I'm actually going to be pretty conservative here and not use that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Even if we drew another land, I'd rather just spin the 2 and then save this for later. And then we can even play a 3/3 and then do that, or play our Lovestruck Beast, and like just lots of options now, which is where we want to be against the red deck. So now something like an Anax or a Torbrand isn't so scary with the way our hand's set up. Alright, opponent's just going to try to play a Bonecrusher Giant. That seems reasonable. We are not going to focus on killing a Bonecrusher Giant at this point in time. Oh, actually, I played those wrong. No, actually, that's fine. That's actually okay. Mostly because if the opponent plays something like a Torbrand here, I'd rather just kill Torbrand. If the opponent attacks, because of our hand set up, we're just going to block. And there's the Torbrand. Torbrand down. This is why, you know, a lot of times plays can look obvious, but you have to really take your time and think through stuff. And don't get too aggressive. Even playing an aggressive deck like this, like, you have to value your cards. You know, is the best way to put that. Alright, and now if they just happen to go land Embercleave, we can still kill it, and then we have Brontodon to kill an Embercleave. So, we're not bad off here. We will definitely block. And whatever trickery the opponent has, we have answers. Yep. We'll just take 2, because that's way better. And then now the opponent's effectively dead at this point. And then just doing it in that order so we can keep a Pelt Collector in case we want to be able to attack with a Lovestruck Beast. So yeah, that worked out okay. And again, the hand looks kind of bad. It's a hand I could see people throwing away, but the reality is playing against the red deck, it's like, okay, I have a couple of blockers, I have 3 removal cards. Let's not get in a hurry and get scared of ourselves. You know, it's kind of how you have to look at that. Because effectively, barring the opponent drawing the Stone Cold nuts, like that hand was going to give us at least till turn 6 to really start worrying about anything. And that's if the draws just went terribly. Like in that case, the draws turned out okay. They weren't spectacular, but they were just fine. And with this drawing even an additional removal card, it kind of made it pretty easy. This, however, is not nearly as good. However, this still warrants some consideration. We can't just throw this back just yet. I mean, we do have 2 creatures we can play. If we get a second land, we potentially have 2 removal cards. But no, I'm going to mulligan. It's possible the opponent gets too fast of a start there and we can't recover. This is much better. We're going to get rid of, let's say, Gruul Spellbreaker here. And then depending on how the opponent's first couple of turns go, we'll kind of decide the order we play our cards. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and lead with the Pelt Collector. See if the opponent has a removal card for the Pelt Collector. If not, then we will try to play like Domri's Ambush and something. But we could get lucky. This could be a game where Flame Sweep actually does some real damage. Okay, well, Flame Sweep will not do anything to that Giant in a couple of turns. That's a little unfortunate. That will help a bit, though. This could also be equally as good as we can just potentially only take 2 from the Giant. Nope, playing Redcap Melees. Alright then. Well, I guess we get an untapped land. It may be worth it just to sweep the spitters here, unfortunately. Well, the opponent got stuck on mana, so that's a thing to note. Okay. Well, if they get stuck again, maybe they'll just play like a... Actually, the best thing for us would probably be for them to play a Steamkin on this turn. And then we get a nice 3-for-1, which would be great. Ugh. Okay, let's see. That'd be the perfect 3-for-1. Hey, alright! Sometimes you ask, and you get it. Ooh, and a Lava Club. That's nice. Now we just gotta draw some threats. I'm tired of drawing all these lands deck. That's not what we're in the market for at all. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of these so the opponent can't play like 2 1/1s or something and get that, or play a 1/1, play another spell, and get the Steamkin out of reach. Alright, they have another Steamkin. However, we have plenty of removal, so we're not too worried about that Steamkin just yet. Not a big fan of using this on that, but it's okay. Now we're at the point we're just running the opponent out of cards. And we've seen a lot of lands, so we're going to be drawing into threats here pretty quick. Speaking of, there's one. And the opponent brought in a lot of removal cards too, so don't know how this is going to end up quite yet, but we'll see. Steamkin, alright. Street Dodger, okay. Well, we're still at enough life that I don't greatly care about a 10 Street Dodger. So, in my mind, the better play is just doing this. Keeping the opponent on weak sauce status. Well, let's say, even if they get a land, what if that's a Torbrand? Like, do we care? Because they would just have to play, like, a naked Torbrand. I mean, I don't know. The opponent could rip solid, and that'd be good, but that's not even... I don't even want to give him the opportunity. I mean, we're down 1-1, card-wise. Life totals are almost even, and I think my creatures are better, so let's just see how the opponent draws here. Alright. That's nearly ideal. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Opponent's at 3. Nah, don't think that's what we want to do. Yep. I think we're about to lock this one up. Only making it a 4/4 in some weird scenario if they happen to have a way to kill this and block something. Like, they don't have anything bigger than 4, so I figured this is a better setup for us. If they manage to kill this, then I can still attack for 4, put the opponent at 2, and then we'll have a trampling creature. Oh, those were not both removal cards, so that's a bonus. Alright, cool. So that worked out. So yeah, it's weird. Like you said, you're playing an aggro deck, but sometimes you kind of have to just accept that you're not that mode. Okay, so overall, you got to see how that worked out. The new list is actually pretty good. It holds its own against mono red. The only one game we got blown out is where we drew the 3 and 4 casters, opponent drew all the cheap ones, and they got a, what was it, the Claim the Firstborn to steal our Lovestruck Beast. So not too upset when that happens. You know, it just comes with the territory. We didn't play too many of the slower decks, so we didn't really get to see how we work out against the blue-white control decks anymore, though having so many haste creatures really helps that out a lot, and being able to sideboard in like another Brontodon has had its uses. I still want to find room for 2 Klothys potentially between main and sideboard, but really only for the slower matchups for the most part. It's possible that we could end up removing like 1 Lava Coil and something else, and probably leaving the sideboard in that situation. But overall, yeah, the deck plays pretty well. If you want something a little different, this is good in that, like, it's not all out aggro, but it's real heavy on it, and it can play both ways. You can play a super fast aggro game, you can play a mid-range game, which I like about the way it's built now. So yeah, just something to look at, something to think of. I know this is something some of you requested in the comments of the last video, so hopefully you like it. And again, if you want to see any type of deck, or you do or don't like the deck, or you have recommendations for the deck that I'm playing, leave a comment and let me know. I'll definitely do my best to respond to them. And again, please, 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 if you like seeing these types of videos, please hit the like and subscribe button below, because that helps me out so very much. And I also hope you like the new video. So you're seeing my face, though now I have to make sure my skin's not all oily and everything now. But I have a better camera that I'm using. So if you want to see that, it's a Canon SL2, I believe. Though I think it's called a 200D outside of the US. You can see the links below for that camera as well. So if you're interested in doing any of this stuff and wanting just a better picture, it's really, really nice. And it wasn't that hard to learn. But anyway, that's it for this video. If there's another deck you want to see or anything, just make a comment, let me know. I would love to do some more of these at the request of you all that are watching. So I think that's it. See you next time.